Roger Stone pleads not guilty to charges from Mueller probe.
I believe him. I believe him.
Blah, blah, blah. Roger Stone, a former advisor to President Donald Trump, pleaded not guilty Tuesday to charges brought by special counsel Robert Mueller as part of an investigation into Russian election interference. Stone, 66, was arrested Friday morning after a grand jury in the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia indicted him on one count of obstruction of an official proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements, and 1 count of witness tampering. He was later released on a $250,000 signature bond.
Well, making a false statement is a crime, dude?
I believe that it is
to a grand jury,
or to the FBI, or to any sort of certain legal bodies.
Because I mean, I was going to say, if that was just the law in general, there's no fucking possible. Yeah, there must be some fucking caveat with that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you can't lie to a federal investigator.
I can't imagine like how much different the internet would be if you could be prosecuted for spreading bullshit.
No, not guilty, dude. Not guilty.
One thing though about these charges that I've seen pointed out by Kyle Kulinski, I've seen pointed out by a few other people.
A bunch of liberal cucks, whatever.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's been pointed out is that none of these charges have to do with the original investigation. They have to do with the actions of him trying to protect things about the investigation, like obstruction. Obstructing the investigation. Witness tampering.
Looks like Paul's liberal fantasy is crumbling.
False statements during the course of the investigation. So, I mean, like, no charges related to the actual meat of the case so much as they're related to how he handled being investigated in the first place.
It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit.
Well,
sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, it's Paul. Look, we know it's bullshit, dude. Where's the evidence? Where's the smoking gun, dude?
There isn't one here. With this Roger Stone shit, there just isn't one, dude. It's kind of because he's just a huckster. He's just a huckster weirdo. Like, now, well, here's the smoking.
With his corncob pipe. Remember we saw him on Alex Jones, dude.
And his button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
He's being accused of kind of like brokering the whole WikiLeaks shit to the Trump campaign.
Which I'm not really that opposed to be honest, because WikiLeaks did that to fucking everybody. I mean, obviously people claim there was a Russian connection there, like that Moscow hacked the DNC database and all that. I get that. But I mean, like, if it's all like a lot of the information was like if it's true information coming out, it's like I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess in some sense that I mean, you can say, hey, that's wrong. But
the truth is dangerous, Scotty.
But like at the same time, like it's kind of this national security argument's been made as in respect to that. But to me, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You guys think that WikiLeaks should just be all kept under wraps, or you think it was wrong?
No, I think WikiLeaks should be operating. I think
Julian Assange should be king of the world, and that WikiLeaks should be.
I don't go that far, but
should be the new name for Earth. We should just call it Planet WikiLeaks.
Welcome to WikiLeaks.
I think that every
the transparency planet.
I think that the office, living room, dining room, and restrooms of every public official should be bugged, and there should be a live stream where you can listen to their conversations
24/7,
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no privacy.
I'm not against it.
And they do it to us, so I mean, it only seems fair.
You can even hear them fapping and shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm sorry, constituents, but I got to rub one off, man.
It's been a stressful day here in D.C.
I mean, you heard me. I've been trying to make deals for the people. Now it's my time, and I'd kindly thank you if you would, if you could find it in your heart to turn off the monitoring and just let me have a nice private fap here in my office.
And of course, all the neckbeards be like, "No way! I have OBS going right now."
See, dude, but if we gave them that much courtesy, they would start using that to have their Russian meetings. And
shit. Yeah, well, there's no one would actually give them their courtesy.
Yeah,
so
no, I know.
People be like, "I want to see Barack Obama jerk off."
Well, I've seen that now.
Strangely anticlimactic.
Yeah, it turns out they're just human beings. Maybe it would humanize politicians.
Yeah, people be like, you know
We'd
what?
Stop worshiping them like kings and shit.
They'd start having mental breakdowns because of the constant surveillance, and then people would feel bad and be like, maybe we should give them like a little privacy.
In order to deal with that, we just start doing like term limits and shit, 2 years under the gun. That's it.
Yeah.
No more double presidencies.
No one would even want the job anymore. It'd be like, there's no corruption allowed? Fuck. I don't want to be
whatever, dude. There would be plenty of corruption. All it would be some stage shit like, the Hillary stream is here. You know, I'd be
Well,
like,
no, we're talking 24/7 streaming surveillance.
yeah, they get doubles and shit, dude.
Yeah, dude, I want to hear Hillary's old ass farting on the toilet, dude. Just big old fucking bull ring fart.
I can't get it out.
I want to hear her on the toilet
I got a shit.
taking a coughing her lungs out. God, why?
Sometimes it's like a boulder, and sometimes like a river. Ah!
Can you imagine?
I
Dude?
shouldn't have had all those enchiladas.
The thought of Hillary fucking blowing up a toilet is just too much.
Dude, can you imagine the Trump toilet stream, dude?
Oh god,
Oh my
dude.
god! After a belly
Oh,
full
dude.
of fucking
And
McDonald's.
they have to have the fucking stream where it comes down so you get to see the shit, dude. We're
Sky,
talking-
just push your mic a little further away from you, would you? All right.
You have to have the fucking like multiple angles, dude. I want the angle. It's like fucking coming down. It's like the diarrhea cam. Or it's like
Yeah,
clear toilet and shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
dude, we need it.
Oh, why
Mr.
are we so
President?
juvenile, dude?
He should not have had that spicy enchiladas and taco lunch.
Because you know what, dude? Talking about doo-doo is more fun than talking about the stupid shit we're supposed to be interested in the news.
All right. Will Roger Stone flip on Trump? Ooh. His answers about it are weird.
Oh,
They're weird.
weird answers.
Let's hear.
Interesting.
Let's hear one of these weird answers.
Oh, hey, TJ, we're not on the screen, dude.
Oh, you don't? Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. My bad.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Should have said something sooner. There you go.
Well, you are the winner of the DFF inaugural Technical Excellence
Why don't you just
Award.
take that one from the top, TJ? Just give us the fucking headline again.
Nah, I don't want to.
Come on, give
I
us the
don't wanna.
headline again.
I don't want. All right, fine.
It's a good headline.
Will Roger Stone flip on Trump? His answers about it are weird. Oh, I'm ready for you. Ready for some weird answers?
I'm ready for some rampant speculation, TJ. You ready?
Asking
for some
someone
rampant
whether they
speculation?
will flip an investigation is generally a pointless question. Almost nobody admits they're going to inform on the boss until they do it. Michael Cohen was going to take a bullet for President Donald Trump, and he even convinced Trump of that. Then he flipped.
Whoa.
That said, Roger Stone's answers to this question are curious. So let's see. Stone has been asked a great deal thanks to his decision to make a series of media appearances since his indictment Friday, and his talking point has usually been some version of, I won't bear false witness against Trump. No matter how much pressure they put on me, no matter what they say, I will not bear false witness against Donald Trump.
Ah.
I see. It leaves a lot of wiggle room. Like,
Yeah.
I won't lie about Trump,
Yeah.
but it doesn't say I'm not going to give them anything about
mean-
Trump. It just says he's not going to bear false witness about it.
Does
So.
he consider Trump like a god? He's like, I will not bear false witness. Thou shalt not bear
The
false.
seventh Republican commandment.
I shall not take Trump's name in vain.
There is no Yeah, I already read that. I'm not going to bear false witness against anybody, he said.
It's kind of a fucking broken record, dude.
I ain't going to bear no false witness against Trump.
Look at that. He looks like a fucking goblin.
He
What
is.
the fuck, dude? I literally am like, are we looking at a goblin?
He is a goblin.
What the fuck?
He's a political goblin. He's been in the nation's nose.
I'd like to
Fucking-
make a withdrawal from Gringotts, please.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like a total troll. He's a political troll. He has been for like, I don't know, some absurd amount of time, 40 years or something. And we just keep buying into it, man. We just keep playing. Look how happy he is. Have you ever seen anybody being led around by federal officials look so fucking shit-eating happy before?
It's all a big fucking game to this dude. I love it.
He loves it, dude. His name is in every mouth. Everybody's talking about him, and that's all he's ever wanted.
Roger Stone. All right, last one. Roger Stone's not guilty plea shows collapse of Russian collusion narrative. By Russian collusion narrative. So fucking long.
How do you feel now, Paul?
The collapse, huh?
The main takeaway from informal presidential advisor Roger Stone's arraignment Tuesday is that the Russian collusion narrative has collapsed. If there was anything there, we'd know about it by now.
Citation needed.
Stone was hauled into federal court Friday morning after a theatrical, televised arrest that should be the subject of a Justice Department investigation or congressional inquiry. Why the excessive threat of force? Though CNN denies it, many still wonder whether the network was tipped off.
Tipped off, Paul.
The extreme intimidation tactic might have been intended to send a message, but it only tended to confirm the biases of those who see Special Counsel Robert Mueller's entire effort as a rogue operation.
Okay, so can we stop there for just a second?
Yeah, let's stop.
And
Sure,
unpack part of this. Because I've seen this passed around a lot. How did CNN have footage of the arrest? How was there a CNN reporter on the scene at the arrest? And the answer to that question is there wasn't. There wasn't a CNN reporter on that scene and that witnessed and filmed that arrest. There was a freelancer. A lot of these news organizations don't pay teams of news people to go around the town and shit. They rely on tapes sent in from third-party freelancers who do things like camp outside of the houses of major figures in giant investigations that are going on, hoping some shit goes down, hoping to catch Roger Stone picking his nose so he can sell a picture of it to the fucking Inquirer, you know? That's what happened.
Scotty, you look dubious about this explanation.
You don't think so? You don't think that's what's
Paul.
going on?
Let me explain something to you. Let's unpack why you're wrong. Okay,
why am I wrong?
No, I do know there's people like that. There's definitely
that's how a lot of the news gets their footage.
But you know
now,
what, Paul?
Freelancers.
That guy was obviously just he is a paid CNN show that was waiting there, and obviously there has to be a degree of plausible deniability, so he doesn't work for CNN, but he's on CNN's payroll. So he goes and sits out there being tipped off by the Justice Department, by Mueller, and all these other fucking goddamn corporate elitist Democrats who want to control everything. He was tipped off. So, of course, CNN gets the scoop. They get the breaking story. And it just happens to be the network that has rallied against people like Roger Stone and Donald Trump consistently. A coincidence? I just think not, Paul. It just seems too convenient.
My
right place at the right time.
Occam's razor, Scotty. My explanation requires no clandestine fucking bullshit at all. Yours requires a bunch of collusion and a bunch of plotting and a bunch of conspirators, all of whom are mysteriously remaining silent.
Not mysteriously, Paul. I mean, it's the mainstream media. It's CNN. CNN is definitely involved in a plot to smear the Donald Trump campaign and his associates and those associated with him.
I kind of agree with that.
It's a concentrated effort.
I kind of agree with that.
So, I mean, look, how hard would it have been for CNN to have an inside source at the Justice Department tell a guy to go sit out there that doesn't work for CNN?
All it takes is one phone call to the right person, like Roger Stone's about to be arrested.
It's not a huge operation to pull that off. I mean, I can understand if we're talking about like the Gulf of Tonkin and shit, where you have to fucking have thousands of people cooperating to a conspiracy theory.
My thing about it is, like, who cares if CNN was tipped off or if it's just they just happen to be someone there filming in case something happened?
Well, I'm not saying that version of events is impossible.
Like, what does it matter either way? Like, Roger Stone still got arrested, whether they did it as part of like the theatrics of political theater, criminal theater, whatever, or if it, they just happened to be there at the right time.
You have to at least know there's an element to that. I mean, taking satire and everything aside, like, you have to know there is an element.
All right, well,
to that.
let's focus on something that's let's focus on a more interesting element of the story. Like, does this?
Well, I just want to make one quick point on it.
Go ahead.
And the point is this: is that you're right. There is a theatrical element because they could have cleared them out and been like, "Go away, you're not filming this." They could have just blocked the street off. So I mean, they did want to see him let out in handcuffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think they wanted. I think that there's. I mean, it's a very image savvy country at this point. But whatever. What I want to know is, what do you think of the main thrust of this article's argument based on those paragraphs? Like, is what they're saying here, does that undercut the Russia investigation because we should have seen more evidence of Russian collusion by now? I know that it almost seems like they threw up this stuff about CNN being tipped off or not as part of a smokescreen.
I don't really understand what the contention is.
Well, yeah, like what the contention seems to be, the process crimes Stone is charged with, such as lying and witness tampering, are potentially serious, but he was not charged with facilitating Trump campaign collusion with Russian hackers, and the indictment itself gives little reason to believe there ever were any. It was so basically they're saying the charges that he's been charged, as I said earlier, the charges he's been charged with have nothing to do with directly with Russia, and nothing about his indictment gives us any more information about the whole Russia angle. And they're saying like by now in this investigation, when it gets up to Roger Stone, why is there still no evidence of the Russian collusion thing being put forth
because most
by
of
the investigation?
Because most of the shit that's been found is under sealed indictment, like it's their sealed grand jury testimony. So we're not going to know all the particulars of the Russia investigation, and the fact that Roger Stone was hauled in because he's been baiting his arrest for months, by the way. He's been trying to get arrested for months and months and months in this investigation. He's been wanting it. Look at that shit-eating grin on his face.
Does he have some kind of like Joker plan,
I don't think so. Other than just self-promotion and him being at the center of yet another giant presidential scandal. No.
Still no evidence of collusion with Russia.
I mean, look, dude, there are what, like 9 Trump campaign officials now who have either been indicted or pled out and are now cooperating.
Yeah.
A bunch of Russian officials to like say that there's no evidence of collusion when the investigation up until this point has produced that level of indictment, I think is kind of silly.
The collusion story was a speculative proposal or proposition from the start. It apparently originated with former CIA Director John Brennan, who testified to Congress about his concerns that Russian agents might be trying to suborn members of the Trump team during the 2016
Especially
campaign.
bribe or influence them.
Based on tips from foreign intelligence services. But rather than a warning, a major presidential candidate that he was a target of foreign influence operation, which you would expect from a supposedly nonpartisan career intelligence official, Brennan established an interagency task force that targeted Trump's circle. And while Brennan has more recently called President Donald Trump's denial of collusion hogwash, he still can't produce evidence to support the charge.
Still can't produce any evidence.
So, he's what this article is saying is that the federal officials involved in an ongoing investigation should have revealed to the target of that investigation that he was indeed under investigation and warned him about all of the things that they knew about how Russia was. Do you think, like at this point, at the point that decision was made, they'd suspected that he had ties with Russians and shit long before? It wasn't like it just started and they were just like, hey, maybe we ought to warn this guy that Russians are attempting to influence him. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I definitely agree with that point, but here's the thing, too. It's like, if there really is, I mean, like, I guess you could argue there is a mountain of evidence that, and they're withholding all of it, it's under seal. I mean, I can get that, but, like, when is it going to drop? Like, what are they waiting for? If there's overwhelming evidence, like, I mean, like, I know there's debate about whether Trump can be indicted as a sitting president, but I mean, even that aside, like, where is the treasure trove? I mean, he's right. At a certain point, you have to put up or shut up. But like, is it a Benghazi where the investigation goes on forever and nothing?
A lot of that treasure trove is under sealed testimony. Like, we don't know what Cohen has told them. We don't know what Michael Flynn has told them.
I mean,
we don't
I get
know what
that,
Paul Manafort told them while he was cooperating.
What is it gonna? But I'm saying, like, if they have all these people that have already flipped on Trump, it's like I feel it's gonna be the same result. I feel like there's gonna be enough people to jump on the sword for Trump that eventually, it might be somewhat damning to him, but it's probably not gonna be like Trump's indicted and Trump's in prison. It's like,
I mean, I kind of wonder, and I've seen it speculated about, but Mueller being famously tight-lipped about what is going on in his investigation, only really releasing things that he wants to be released,
of course,
in a very steady kind of stream to kind of
to shape the narrative he wants,
right? To shape the narrative that way. But I'm kind of wondering if the investigation has kind of turned from an investigation into Russia to just the criminal history of Trump, like just a general sort of corruption.
Now that's interesting,
and business, looking into his business dealings, and just uncovering more of a generalized corruption.
That is funny
than just necessarily. Specifically, this Russia charge
that
so many people seem to be focused in on.
You're the first person I've actually heard mention that, so I don't know.
I mean, it would be part of the media narrative, this Russia thing, but we haven't heard that out of Mueller. We haven't heard jack shit out of Mueller.
Right. I mean, we know I mean, some things about Trump's
Well, he's not
past
gonna
have come
play his
out through the
hand
Russia
like that.
investigation. Like, I think the fact that Trump received way more money from his father than he claimed to have, and that it was transferred basically illegally through
Yeah, he never
shady
released his
channels.
tax returns. Remember that?
right.
Too.
His tax returns still have not been
The only
released.
thing we've ever seen has been something that was leaked.
We know that we know that Trump has had various dealings with the mafia and the mob and shit. Of course, he was a business. He was doing real estate in New York. So,
So
I mean,
of course, yeah.
I mean, maybe that was unavoidable.
We did learn through this investigation that Trump was engaged in real estate business dealings in Russia long after he claimed to have
That
no
is true.
business dealings in Russia.
which they, of course, Trump and Giuliani both denied, then didn't deny, then denied, then didn't
Undenied,
deny.
then re-denied, and then undenied
and
again.
have undenied and redenied it 100
Yeah.
times.
And of course, there was all the stuff with the porn star that got paid off. I mean, like, how many other people have been paid off by Trump for various reasons to
Right.
not say various
Oh.
things?
I mean, Trump definitely. I mean, if Trump and corruption go hand in hand, I mean, like, I definitely believe Trump is corrupt. It's just like I don't know if there's anything's going to be done about it. Is what I'm
Right.
saying. I'm more skeptical.
I
about
guess it
something
just
actually
depends. I guess it just depends on what the investigation would
Well,
uncover.
because
but,
when you have a corrupt system, it kind of the problem with convicting someone of corruption is that puts a spotlight on you as well. It's like Trump's
Right.
the only corrupt one, so it's like that's I think that's the more of the struggle in the U.S. It's like what do we do with someone when we're all corrupt too?
yeah, when we're all corrupt, what
It's
do we?
hard. It's hard to point out like, hey, this guy's corrupted, but none of these other politicians are.
Corruption
land-
greases the wheels.
In the land of
DC.
the blind, the man with one eye is king, I guess.